Hey, thanks for stopping in. I would say that my relationship with my father has kind of like three different stages. I would say from birth till about up until the time I had my accident until I left home and started living life on my own. And I would say, currently, my relationship with him currently. And throughout that time, I would say I've been privileged to have him be my father throughout my life. I wasn't one of those kids who, had either a deadbeat dad or, a father who was in and out of my life. He's been there all my life. So my relationship with him kind of, in a sense, has gone, as I got older, it's kind of gotten those three stages. And so that's kind of what I would block it out as. And I would say the relationship with any son and his father can probably go in stages as well. The reason I bring all this up because the dynamic of the father and son is definitely something special. And I think at the same time, as a boy is becoming a man, there's this dynamic that is created in there that maybe the son takes on things that he doesn't need to take on, whether it's, criticism or expectations of the father that makes it tough for him to grow up to become a man or a free man. I say all this stuff because going back to the book, The Way of the Spirit Man by David Deida and focusing on the chapter or just the one chapter entitled Live as If Your Father Was Dead. Hey everyone, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Ape Studios, back again with another vlog. In today's vlog, as I mentioned, I'll be going back to the book The Way of the Spirit Man by David Deida and reviewing a single chapter. But first, if you end up liking this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you have a comment or a question or anything that you'd like to share based on this topic, make sure to leave that comment in the comment box below. Let's start a conversation. And lastly, if you want to be updated when I drop my next video, which I've been doing for a while now, one video a week, make sure to ring that bell. So let's get back into it. And also just to let you know, I have done a book review on this book, The Way of the Spirit Man, which I'll leave a link to in the description box below, or you can just click here. So again, this relationship of the father and the son can be a difficult one for many reasons, but I would imagine any son who's had his father in his life, throughout his life, and had any kind of good relationship, they would still be able to say that they wouldn't give that up for nothing. As much as maybe sometimes a relationship can be a little rocky, I would think that a son would want his father in his life. I think at the same time, these relationships, as I call them dynamic, these relationships can come with some kind of baggage. And that baggage may come in the form of high expectations or criticism. If you have expectations that are hovering over your head all the time and you're feeling like, how am I going to achieve that? And it's coming from your father, or you have criticism in your ear all the time about how you're doing this and why you're doing this wrong, those things can be detrimental. And so the book, The Way of the Spirit Man, has that one chapter to help sons with that. And that chapter, as I said, is Live as If Your Father Was Dead. I think the chapter title, in a sense, or in itself, sparks questions and why that's the name of the chapter. But the premise of the chapter is this: a man must love his father and yet be free of his father's expectations and criticism in order to be a free man. With that being the premise of the chapter, you kind of get a sense of what this chapter is kind of lead on. If you don't, well, I'm going to explain it to you. So the chapter kind of goes on from there to give you an idea of what it's talking about. And it says this: imagine that your father has died, or remember when he did die. Are there any feelings of relief associated with his death? Now that he is dead, is there any part of you happy that you need not live up to his expectations or suffer his criticisms. So with that, it's giving you an idea where it's going, in the sense that, yeah, as a son, as I had mentioned just briefly before, there's sometimes that you get expectations put on you or the expectations put on you from your father that are maybe not the direction that you're looking to go. Maybe you're expected to take over the family business, or you're expected to go to college, or maybe there's criticism that's in your ear based on what you're doing. You're doing it wrong. You're not good enough, or you're not doing it the right way. Things like that can be detrimental to the growth of a child, or the growth of the son, and from the father. And hopefully it's positive feedback that the father's giving him, but sometimes it may not be. And so as the son's growing up and hearing these things and thinking that he's going to have to deal or grow to become this thing, that can be detrimental. So the chapter goes on from there. How would you have lived your life differently if you had never tried to please your father? If you never tried to show your father that you were worthy? If you never felt burdened by your father's critical eye? So in a sense, it's asking you, what would you do differently with your life? You say, now that you don't have those expectations hanging over your head, or you don't have that criticism in your ear all the time, what would you do differently? And how would your life be different in that same sense? So as the chapter comes to a close, it gives you a practice that you can put into action that can help you work through these situations, or these feelings of expectations and criticism from your father. And it states like this: for the next 3 days, do at least one activity a day that you have avoided or suppressed because of the influence of your father. In this way, practice being free of his subtle expectations, which may now reside within your own self-judgment. And so it also says that as you do this practice, you may have feelings of, you're still fearful, you're still feeling of unworthiness, or even burdened by your father's influence. And if you have those feelings, or those feelings come up based on those, on you doing this practice and putting it into actual action, don't worry about it. Just kind of work through it. So my point in sharing this video, or sharing this content, is to help any other sons out there that may be feeling some unworthiness, some of the expectations that their fathers have put on them, to help them through that. Obviously the book, The Way of the Superior Man, is a whole, and this is just one chapter out of it, but I think this one chapter can be helpful to anyone, or any son that's out there that's having a situation like that, feeling that their father has a little bit too much criticism on them, or put too much expectations on their lives to become a different type of person than they want to become. So hopefully it's been helping you in some way. I know it's been helpful to me, so I wanted to share that, and in sharing that, it helps me more solidified for myself, so that's another reason. And again, if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you have a comment, a question, or anything like you'd like to share based on this topic, make sure to leave that in the comment box below. And then lastly, if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming content, as I've been posting every week, once a week, make sure to ring that bell. And then also remember, I've also done a complete book review on The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, as well as a few other reviewed chapters, videos that you can find links to those in the description box below, or you can just click here. So like we always do this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.